Yo, people, we back again with another episode. It's gonna be a short one, a little cool one, just for this week, innit? We're trying to get back into the mojo thing, isn't it? Getting the pod running again properly and stuff like that. So it's just gonna be me and your boy Denzel. Or he might pop through, I don't know. But it might just be us two, innit? Um so freestyling. We're freestyling this. Let's go. There isn't much on the weekend. We're gonna mostly spend a lot of time on the City thing, but let's just quickly round up on the weekend's action. And you know where I want to actually go to now? So Man City versus Spurs. Before we go into to Man City, let's start with Spurs now. Denzel, be honest, yeah. How highly do you rate Harry Kane legacy wise? Even though he doesn't have the Prem, how highly do you rate him?
Very highly, very, very highly. Generational, once in a generation player, in my opinion. But the thing is with Kane, in fact, let me give him his flowers first. Being Tottenham's all-time top goal scorer, huge achievement. Bagging consistently every season, this guy performs consistently. Is probably the best striker consistently, season for season. And the thing about Kane as well is it's just his all-round game. He's more than a striker. His assisting, his passing, his footballing brain. He's just an elite player. He's an elite footballer. He's not blessed with the best attributes in terms of pace and whatsoever, but where he lacks for pace, he makes up for in intelligence and strength and just positioning. Everything about his game is just it's intelligent. He's a very, very intelligent footballer. And I feel like I'm not surprised that he's broken Tottenham's goal scoring record because let's be real, he's the best. He's the greatest player to ever play for Tottenham. Let's not get it twisted. Definitely.
Is
Um, yeah,
they
hundred
might say
percent.
like Jimmy Greaves and all them man there, innit?
Maybe you can make an argument for Gareth Bale, but he wasn't playing for Tottenham the way Kane was playing for Tottenham for a sustained period of time. He was like good for like a couple of seasons and then went off to Madrid. Um, but yeah, Harry Kane, you just have to give him his flowers. Like I rate him very, very highly. The only thing that lets him down is obviously the lack of trophies. If we want to put him number one in terms of English strikers or number one in terms of Prem strikers, he needs to get that Premier League trophy. I feel like he needs a Prem to solidify himself as the number one guy. I don't know where Josh has gone, but yeah, I'll continue. In order to like solidify himself as the number one guy, I would say that he needs that Premier League trophy. He needs to get that for him to be um number one in my eyes. So yeah,
My bad. Internet is moving mad right now. You can hear me now. You can hear me, don't it? I'm back.
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Mad bad people. So you're talking about Kane, innit? Um,
yeah. I was just saying the lack of
nah,
trophies is
it's top, man.
what's letting him down.
I hear the trophy thing, man. He hasn't even won one. That's poor. That's shocking for a player of his caliber not to have won one trophy. But he's also to blame for that, man. It's not one of them ones where you're gonna be like, oh, he's been let down. Like he's also let himself down quite a few times as well. With Kane, like, you know what? Let me be real, yeah. Kane, when he first came about, I didn't like him, innit? I thought it was jammy, man. He annoyed me. Like he just bagged like anyhow, man. I didn't like that. But it's sometimes you have an acceptance. And it was similar with Rooney as well, because I always looked at Rooney and he was just I just thought it was so overrated the way he was looked at. But as you go along, you kind of appreciate the quality, and then some players they really grow on you, and Kane did grow on me. I was like, yo, this guy is a top marksman. Like the technique, like right foot, left foot, he can get in the corners. His passing as well. He's just an all-round great player, isn't it? So he's definitely one of the best strikers I've seen, one of the best finishers I've seen as well. Just an unbelievable marksman. So congratulations towards him. But yeah, he does need a trophy, but it has to be meaningful though. So him going to Bayern, for example, yeah, he can get you a couple Bundesligas, DFB Pokals, but that's not really it's not really anything. In fact, not to be disrespectful, but obviously Bayern are meant to always win the league, innit? Yeah, the ones there. It's not because you see when you win trophies, you want them to have meaning, like purpose. You get what I'm saying? Like you see like what Ronaldo was doing, yeah, in the Champions League when you score those big goals in it for Real Madrid. You can look back and
Yeah,
say, "Yo, Ronaldo did this, Ronaldo did that."
exactly. Yeah,
Look at Lewandowski now. When he won the Bundesliga for Bayern, you can't say, Lewandowski did that or he scored this goal that won us the league." It's just a thing of it was a
they always run away
formality.
with
So
it.
it
So
kind of
yeah, they the
exactly
one.
it takes
Was
away
it
from
like
it, man.
how many times straight have Bayern won that league? It's basically a given that they're gonna win. Probably like 10 times straight
Bro,
or
they've
something
won
like
it
that.
double digits. It's been like
Yeah,
10
it's
plus years
insane.
now.
It's ridiculous. Like
So
basically, the whole league is a feeder to them as well because they always sign the best players. That's even so. RB Leipzig, Conrad Lehmer's going to Bayern now. It's just a feeder league. Like it's to feed the big giant that's Bayern, and then hope that they do well in Champions League to represent the whole of Germany. But it's nothing really special winning the Bundesliga because if you know Bayern's going to win it. But with Kane, yeah, obviously going to Bayern and like winning a Bundesliga, at least it's a trophy though. At least it's a trophy. He can say that, oh, I'm a league title winner. But obviously the Prem would be way, way more meaningful for him. Like being the all-time top Prem goal scorer without a Prem, like
yes, it's sus.
it's a big achievement. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure like he'll probably look back at his career and be like, I wish I won the Premier League. I'm sure he'll take a Premier League title over or maybe a couple Premier League titles over the individual accoutrements and awards. But yeah, I don't
100%,
know.
man.
It's just a question of ambitions, how much you want it. Maybe you're satisfied. Maybe he wants to be a one-man player. I mean, one club player, which I respect. But if you really, really want to cement yourself in history, you have to make the move and try and get a Premier League trophy because we all know Spurs aren't winning it.
Mm. I hear you, man. But yeah, now big up to Kane for that, fantastic player. That's one thing about football, bro. Like, you see how man like to predict players, man. Like, let's be honest, yeah. When we were coming up, because when the Kane come about 2014, 2015, he wasn't a big prospect. Remember, Sterling was the big prospect coming through, like in the early 2010s, innit? Ross Barkley, I know was a big one. Wilshere as well was big. But like no one mentioned about Kane,
Yeah,
innit?
he even got sent on loan a couple of times. Normally, like when a player has a huge potential, like a trajectory, normally they're like straight from the academy into the starting lineup. He got sent alone. Was it Leicester?
Yeah.
Who else? Was it
Leighton
Preston? Am I
Orient,
bugging?
I
Yeah,
think
Leighton Orient. That's it. Leighton Orient.
Norwich. Yeah.
No, yeah, he had a couple loan spells before he broke into that Spurs side. But he stuck at it. Like there's a lot of times in his career where people probably thought that he wasn't going to be the player that he was going to be. Even Arsenal dropped him from their youth academy. But it's just hard work. He's he wasn't. You can't say he was born with it. He learned and studied the game and bettered himself and created himself and turned himself into arguably the best striker that's ever played at the Prem. Um, you just have to give credit to the guy because of he's worked for everything that he's got. Unfortunately, it hasn't accumulated to a Premier League title yet, or a World Cup trophy, or a European trophy per se. You could say the only downfall with Kane is that in those big, big moments, he hasn't stepped up to the plate. I'll allow him with the Champions League final because if he was coming off an injury, probably shouldn't even have started that game to be honest. Um, World Cup, he did let us down. I'll be honest against France with the penalty miss. And what was the other Euros? I don't think there's much more he could have done in the Euros or the previous World Cup. He had decent campaigns, but it's just in those final moments, like this clutch. Could you say Kane is like really a clutch player? He's clutch in a sense of in the league and doing what he's supposed to do, but in those big moments, is he quite there? It's to be questioned. But we can't deny what he's done. He is definitely top three Premier League strikers in my opinion. In my opinion, I think he's in the top three. But to be number one, you have to have a Prem title.
I hear you, I hear you. Before we get into City, it does raise an interesting question where he does rank. And like it will also differ, like if you're talking best or greatest. I think because of his longevity, he's definitely like one of the greatest. Like I'm not even disputing that. But in terms of his ranking, like in terms of like the best strikers that I've seen in the Prem, like best, like Suarez is number one. Then you have RVP. RVP was nuts. You have Aguero as well. I rate those three higher than Kane. And
Yeah,
then
I rate Aguero highly as well. To be fair,
And then
and RVP and
on the part, who else is there? You got Drogba. I'm not mentioning Henri because
Rooney, of course,
Rooney was
Rooney, of
before.
course.
Rooney's better than Kane, but
Yeah.
Rooney's not really a striker.
He was a
Like
striker.
Rooney's better than
He
Kane.
is a striker. Rooney's a
But he's
striker.
not a striker
What do
like
you
that.
mean? Like he wasn't. What are we talking about? What do you mean by a striker? What is a number
Like
9?
Rooney, yeah, Rooney's like
He's
obviously
not number
Kane's a bit
9.
more than a striker as well, but Rooney's not really like a number 9. He's like a second
He's not a
striker sort of vibe,
traditional.
innit?
He's not a traditional 9, but he was still a striker.
Yeah, if you're going by that, then yeah, I'll say Rooney is
Yeah,
better
because
than Kane.
Rooney was from the era where they were playing at 2 up top. So yeah, he played in a
Yeah.
2 striker system.
Hmm. Who else is there amongst them? There's a lot of strikers.
So you got Alan Shearer, all those guys. But yeah,
I don't talk
well,
about people like before my time.
fair
If we're
enough,
talking
fair
about
enough.
greatness, then yeah, he's there. I'll say Kane's greater than Shearer though.
You think so?
If Kane breaks his record, I think Kane will be greater.
I think
If Kane breaks his
the
record.
edge that Shearer has is
Oh
that
yeah,
he obviously
Shearer
got the
got a
one prem.
prem.
He got a prem.
I forgot.
Kane
I
needs
forgot, man.
the prem. He needs that Premier League title. But yeah,
No, Kane's definitely like an all-timer, man. Definitely
yeah,
one of the best
100%,
strikers. Yeah, gotta
100%.
respect it.
But yeah, we're giving him his
Um,
flowers. Could move on
yeah,
from
man, he
Harold.
deserves it.
He does deserve it.
He
I
deserves it.
like Kane a lot. I like him he's a brilliant footballer. Brilliant footballer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what are we saying about Pep? What's going on in City, man?
See, it's a mess right now, if I'm being honest. In fact, let me stop. I was gonna say it's a mess. I'm going to rant about all that. No, it's not really a huge mess. Let's be realistic here. Probably gonna hire the big boy lawyers because they got they've got the Arab money. Gonna get the best lawyers in the world. They're gonna find one loophole in which, oh, we did this and did this. This wasn't in the and it says here and here that we could have done that. They'll find a loophole just like they did with UEFA, and they'll bust case. Let's be honest, they're not getting no points deduction, not this season anyway. So all the rival fans getting excited about City getting a points deduction. They're not getting a points deduction. It's not happening. Um, it's it's, it's a weird one because saying they broke how many breaches was it? Like numerous breaches, right?
I just saw it was multiple seasons, like dating
Yeah,
back like
multiple
10 years.
seasons, multiple. We all knew City were doing some dodgy business. They've kind of calmed down as of recent years. Fair enough, but everyone kind of knew City were doing some dodgy stuff with the books and all that. Chelsea probably doing that now. Chelsea's time is coming. I'm telling you now. Chelsea are right there. I don't know why the Premier League are looking at City, but obviously they said they conducted this over 5 years, so that's probably why. Give it like 2030 Chelsea points deduction coming. Watch. Anyway, let's go back to City. With City, we knew they were doing dodgy stuff with the books. It's not something that shocked anyone. UEFA tried it with them, failed. I don't know why the Premier League have even tried, to be honest. I heard the reason why they got away with the UEFA one is because if there was like a time, it was time based or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
timeline. Yeah.
apparently the Prem isn't time based, so they can get them done for this. I think Man City will get away with it, to be honest. I'm not really too worried. If I was a City fan, wouldn't be too worried. On the pitch is where I'd slightly be more concerned. Losing against Spurs, then again, they don't really have a good record against Tottenham away anyway. There's conversations going on around Haaland. I think people are kind of overreacting a little bit. They're just talking for the sake of talking.
You know I like a Haaland slander. What are they saying about Haaland?
Yeah, they're saying that. Oh, I saw certain pundit the other day say that maybe he chose the wrong team. What?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
What? See, he literally created the most chances out of any team in the Prem. You don't even have to work hard as a striker to play for City. Like, I don't understand this narrative that Haaland doesn't suit City. It's the first season. It's gonna take time to gel, and he's bagged 25 goals.
Yeah.
Any other man in world football that bags 25 goals, no one is gonna have an issue with it. Because it's City and people love to. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, because it's City and they're not. performing as they used to perform. Everyone wants to run narrative, say, "Oh, Haaland's making them worse," or "Haaland shouldn't have gone there." It's the first season. There's going to be teething problems, obviously. Like they've been playing without a striker for how many seasons? 2, 3 seasons. And I think another thing I want to mention as well is people were forgetting City don't have strikers with a burst of pace anymore. They don't have those I'm not sorry, strikers, wingers
Wingers.
that have that pace. They lost Sterling, don't have Sane anymore. It's a different system. They have players that like to dribble about, pass it, do play little
They're
intricate
not dribblers
passes.
like that, bro.
They've got Mahrez and Grealish, decent, good, pretty good dribblers.
They're not dribblers, bro. Mahrez ain't a dribbler like that anymore. And
Yeah,
Grealish
he's
ain't
a
a
faint man. He's a faint
dribbling.
man. But
Yeah.
they have not, I don't know what's the word to describe them, but they're not direct wingers. They're definitely not direct wingers. And obviously, with someone like Haaland, we want like a direct winger to get the ball to him as soon as possible. It's a thing. People need to just relax a bit. Like, see if they're they're fine. 25 points. I mean, 25 goals. De Bruyne has what 11 assists. Any other team in the world, and no one's complaining. But obviously, because of the league position, that's why everyone's creating this narrative about Haaland. I don't. It's not as bad as it seems. But realistically, there's certain games where they've dropped points this season in which they should be doing better. But I wouldn't panic too much if I was a City fan. Um, yeah, it's not really that deep. We'll see at the end of the season. I don't think anyone's going to be saying, "Oh, Haaland was bad for City," or they missed out on the title because of Haaland. Like, nah, man. Yeah, it's just people are just talking for the sake of talking. It's sensationalism. Like, you want a headline? Let's slander Haaland because of it grabs clicks. Realistically, he's not really hurting the team that much, in my opinion.
I agree with you, man. I don't think he's a detriment to the team. Bro, at the end of the day, you just need a guy who can put the ball in the back of the net. And like we were having the debate about Haaland, and I always said he's not technically a great footballer, but he still does the basics well. Like he can pass the ball into his feet and he can pop it back to you. I think he's in a similar mold of a Lukaku, very physically strong, powerful runner in it. Not technically amazing, but he does a job. He's better than Lukaku though. But I think he does have to improve his all-round game. I think he definitely does have to improve that, but he's not a detriment to City. I think City are just on their decline, man. Their cycle's over. They have to rebuild. I think that's as simple as it is. Haaland isn't an issue. If a guy's bagging 25 goals, it's not really an issue. I think the midfield is an issue. I think they have to step up their midfield. Uh, I think they have to get rid of Bernardo Silva. Maybe look at getting rid of Rodri, and I think Gundogan's going to leave. And I'm not saying it in terms of because they're bad quality players. They're Bernardo's a very good player. I think they just need to refresh and get new ideas and just a new intensity and the mindset. These guys have won the Prem like 4 times. To
Yeah, they're
go again.
definitely complacent. They're complacent, 100%.
Yeah,
Pep even said it in his
exactly,
interview. They're complacent.
exactly, man.
They're comfortable. They feel like they can walk the league every year. This is the Barclays, mate. You can't walk the league every single year. Eventually, tides are going to turn. We're seeing that with the rise of Arsenal.
But with them cooking the books and whatever, I mean, most big clubs I think do that anyways. Um, it came out of the blue, which is the only thing, because with other times that City have got in trouble, there's been like rumors about it, isn't it? Like they'll be like, "Oh, City are gonna get charged," and this one just came out of the blue. No one expected it, so there might be some harsher uh punishments, but I don't
Yeah.
know how deep it will be.
I think because they've conducted it for 5 years, it's a little bit more worrying than the UEFA one, but I still feel like they're going to get away with
Yeah,
it, to be honest. Yeah, I think they'll be
it's going
fine.
to be interesting to see how they do spin it because this is based on 10 years. Obviously, we don't know the technicalities too deeply, but it's like
Yeah.
because I saw it was like people talking about 11-12 season or 10-11 or whatever, and that's like over 10 years ago. So that's quite bad if
I think it was what,
you're
from 2000, was it 2009 to 2018 or something? Or like,
well,
it's
2009.
it spans back. I think it spans back to 2009. I'm not sure. It spans
No,
back a long
that's very
time.
bad then.
Yeah, it
That's
spans back
very
a
bad.
long. I don't know. I don't know when it spans to, but maybe someone who's watching or can if they know they can put it in the comments. But It's been for a while. Like it's been for a while. I'm trying to check right now. Sorry.
That's concerning, man. I don't know if they're just
Yeah.
gonna get a mad, maybe a transfer ban and then a massive fine in it. I think that's what is probably feasible. They just get
Yeah.
a transfer ban.
2009. 2009.
Mm.
Yeah. To 2018.
Imagine, I think realistically, you might just see them get a two like window ban and
Yeah, and that's not really gonna affect
a
them that
mad
much.
fine.
They've got a massive squad.
Yeah. But if they do get a points deduction, it shows a difference, definitely.
Yeah.
But
But I don't
I
think the
wouldn't.
thing is, even if they get points, this whole thing's probably gonna conclude next season, not this season. So it's not really gonna affect them this season. I feel like a points deduction for next season at the beginning of the season being on like -10 points or something, it's gonna hurt you.
100%,
It's
hundred
gonna hurt
percent,
you.
man. But
So yeah, that's
it
gonna be
will,
interesting to see.
it will, man. Um, we did say it would be a short one. We're not going to spend
Yeah.
too long on this.
I just got a quick
Denzel, is
shout
there
out to
anything?
I was gonna say shout out to Sean Dyche, Premier
Oh
League
yeah, yeah,
heritage
yeah.
manager. Great start for Everton. Quality start for Everton. They played well as well. That's the thing. It weren't like they were just scrapped like a 1-0 victory. They played well against the league leaders. So yeah, respect to them. The Casemiro situation with United, it's an interesting one. I think it was a harsh red, but it was a red. I feel like though, if you're gonna give Casemiro a red, you have to give like 5 other players a red because of that. There was worse activity in that scramble or screw or scrum or whatever the hell you want to call it. You literally had his hand around Fred's throat. Like he was like this. He wasn't even like Casemiro. Just kind of like he was trying to get Hughes away. You literally like one hand strangled Fred and got away with it. Ridiculous. I feel like if you're gonna give someone a red card, they were looking for a red card. One, two. If you're gonna give someone a red card, give multiple people red cards. I feel like we have to appeal that decision, or even if we don't win the appeal, at least like give a Palace player a ban as well because it's ridiculous how they got away with that. Um, yeah, that's really all that happened over the weekend, and then obviously Jesse Marsh getting sacked today.
Oh
New
yeah,
manager bounce. We have him 2 games in a row, so I'm not really happy about that. But yeah,
yeah. Depends who they get, man. Oh yeah, with the Palace thing, man. I wouldn't mind Jordan Ayew ban, man. Like I'm not
yeah,
I'm
that
not
would
feeling him,
benefit
man.
every party.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not feeling him, man. In fairness to him, yeah, he's a decent technical footballer. Like he can keep the ball in it, but he doesn't do anything with it. He's got no burst, nothing. He just a hard worker, and he's got a good first touch, and he can move the ball up. That's it. He's not really anything, man. Annoying, man. Yeah, Palace aren't in good form right now. It's bad, man. Arsenal shouldn't be worried about their defeat, man. It's part of being in the title race. You're not going to win every game, man. Um, it just happens, man. But a couple concerning performances. Martinelli's been poor for quite a while now. He is quite isolated out wide. Zinchenko doesn't help him in that sense. He doesn't overlap. I know Arteta likes him to invert, but I think a bit of flexibility is needed in that role at times to support Martinelli. And if you're going to play Martinelli like that, I think you definitely need a 1v1 demon that can just hold the flank like a Sane or Prime Sane back in the day. Who can just hold the flanks and just run, run past men. But Martinelli ain't got that sauce in it. But
Yeah, he don't even
Arsenal,
look up when he runs as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
Arsenal shouldn't be worried. And then
yeah, they'll be fine.
final one, Jamal Musiala. He's that guy, man. He's the guy.
Don't I don't
He's
watch
the talent.
that league.
He's
If
the
I'm being
talent,
honest.
bro. He's the talent. He needs to leave the Bundesliga, though. I'm not happy with that league.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
really
not happy
watch that
anymore.
league. I'll be honest. He's not gonna leave Bayern. Players
Nah,
don't really leave Bayern Munich. Plus, he opted for
nah,
Germany
he's,
instead
he's
of
too
England.
good.
I
He's
think
too good for that
He's
league.
comfy in Germany. He's comfy in Germany. He hasn't got the ambition, the drive, the
Let's see,
determination to
bro.
come over to the Prem. He's not gonna play in this league. I guarantee you.
Go check out his goal, man. Go check out his goal. But
I'll check him out, but he's not gonna touch Premier League football. I don't think he hasn't got that dog in him to come over to Prem and
let's
tear
see,
it up.
man. Let's see.
In my opinion,
Let's
but
see.
hopefully he proves me
Let's
wrong.
see.
Hold a man in
Let's
United shirt.
see. Nah, he needs to go
uh,
like Madrid, man. Like he needs to go to the
yeah,
pinnacle of
he's
football, respectfully.
yeah. Oh, what? What? Whatever,
He needs
man.
to go to the
But
pinnacle of football, Real Madrid or Barca, man. He's that level of a talent.
Boring. Comes to the Prem, do it on a cold, wet night. At Stoke or Burnley, or do it at Brentford, or I don't care, to be honest. Couldn't scared to play for the
We're here to
England
watch
team.
real
Big
ballers,
Germany
man.
and scared. Real
We're here
baller
to watch
this, real
real
baller
ballers,
that.
man.
He flops in the Prem, in my opinion. But we'll see. Who cares? We'll see.
All I'm saying, go look at that goal. Is the defenders, but
Yeah, exactly.
still, man. But
But
yeah, man. You man. We out. Peace. Make sure
well.
you like, comment, subscribe, and share with your